Were you the mom from Shake It Up?
Yes, I was.
Oh my god! Like I used to love
Oh,
Shake It
I
Up.
love Shake It
Oh
Up.
yeah, we love Shake. I was recognizing you, so I was like, oh, okay, sorry, I was not distracted.
Oh, well, you're as much of a fan of me as I am of the two of you. You guys are fabulous.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, that is so funny that you recognize me from that. Wow, it was a long time ago.
And
Jai, what was it like to film in those woods? Because that scene with Harrison, it took quite a bit of time, and y'all were playing and skipping stones. Did you have a day where something really crazy happened? You know, because Black people, we are not known for camping. We are not known for being in the outdoors. Not like that.
yeah, that was part of the initial concern. I mean, every day there was something. But I love shooting those scenes. I love the adventurous aspect of like going to different locations and getting outside of our comfort zone. Like it was really fun. David and I, it really felt like a camping trip, to be honest. It felt like a real um, sort of remote adventure. It was fun.
So I know that you are a very accomplished musician, and the score plays a great part in this series that you're on, right? So if your group were to arrange something or contribute something to the soundtrack, what do you think that would sound like?
It would be Bootsy's theme.
Okay.
Bootsy's theme. And it would be very
Okay.
bass heavy.
Uh-huh.
It would sound like if Funkadelic and Sir James Marshall Hendricks, otherwise known as Jimi Hendrix,
Yes.
Ron Isley, maybe my man Sly Stone, were all to have a barbecue, and their instruments just happened to be there, and they said, "Hey, you know what? Let's let's do let's do something, and let's get a Fred Wesley and the Horny Horns from James Brown's band, and let's just come up with a theme."
I love that. That was really well crafted. I can visualize it happening as you were
Yeah, I'm
talking.
seeing it as I'm saying it.
That was kind of fabulous. I got to give you one on that one.
Thank you.
This show is also a show that is about second chances. Was there someone that you gave a second chance to and you immediately regretted it?
Yeah. I mean, once or twice in my youth, I think I had given folks a second chance, only to be reminded of why, I was cross with them in the first place. Sometimes a second chance just doesn't pan out the way you think it would. But I think forgiveness, generosity, understanding is always positive. And even if you have to pivot from that stance to a stance of, boundaries and self-respect and you have to push people away sometimes. The act of giving a second chance and being forgiving is a valuable thing. You know what I mean? You might not want to give a third chance, but I think we can learn from giving somebody a second chance, even if it doesn't work out. It can benefit us, I think, sometimes.
I don't know if I've ever regretted it. I don't. I have to say I've been blessed not to have been in a situation where I've needed to give people too many second chances. But I do believe, when someone shows you who they are, you gotta believe in them. So I'm really big in loving people at a distance. It's like I love you, but what I'm saying, go over there with all that. Like you can't be in my space. Positive energy, good vibes. Absolutely.
I also know that you're a very, very spiritual brother. How much of your spirituality did you bring to Bootsy? Because it looked like quite a bit, because Bootsy was kind of chill.
Wow, I didn't know people knew that about me, but I would say
That's
that.
my job, baby.
Yeah,
I'm a journalist. It's my job to know stuff.
okay. I would say that Bootsy was definitely in line with some of my own interpretations of spirituality and how we conduct ourselves in the world. And he definitely is infused with certain, I guess people would call them esoteric or existentialist or maybe even Eastern type of meditations and ideas about life. Because here's a man as a combat veteran who, he took people's lives, and he's been in that scenario where he's had to aim a weapon at another human being and pull the trigger on purpose, not by accident, on purpose. He's been wounded and all of that kind of thing, and I think that he made a choice to let those experiences pass through him and not take hold and take rest in him and take refuge in him and harden and calcify his heart. That having been said, just like any combat veteran, when they find themselves in certain kind of situations, a switch can be flipped. It's just the training. It is just what it is. Unfortunately, it's not something that ever really leaves them. And I base that assumption on all the combat veterans I've known in my life and the conversations I've had with them. It never really leaves you, that ability to go there, unfortunately. But luckily for him, he self-medicates too. So that keeps him cool and in line with his Eastern philosophies, if you will. And so he's going about life in a purposeful manner of being chill and peaceful and cool as often as possible.
Well, you're chill, peaceful, and cool. And I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Oh,
I hope I
thank you.
get to speak to you many more times in the future.
Me too. Thank you very much.
I'm just curious, where did the title Government Cheese come from?
So I did a short film with Paul Hunter, who created the show 6 years ago, and it was called Government Cheese back then. And I asked the same question. I'm playing a version of Paul's dad in this show, and Hampton Chambers, who is my character, is someone who's just filled with aspiration and invention. And anyone who knows what government cheese was back in the days, government subsidized food, government cheese. And it's this cheese that it became beloved because of the grilled cheeses you can make with it and the macaroni cheese. And, it was government subsidized food, but people made it into a delicacy. And there are people you still say it to now, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was the best cheese in the world. And so, it's in our show, government cheese is symbolic of making lemonade out of lemons. You take the little you have and you make it into something incredible. This guy starts incarcerated. He has this epiphany about a self-sharpening drill, and that's going to be the means by which his family is going to come out of the challenges that they face. And you see that with his wife in the show, his sons. They all have these aspirations, and so government cheese is sort of symbolic of that.
If there was an invention now that you thought could use an overhaul, what do you think that might be?
For years, I just thought, why do we still walk around with these pink band-aids as black people on our body? Every time I get a boo-boo, I'm walking around with a white person's band-aid. Thankfully they've got brown ones now, but I'm like, we need shades. There's shades to us. So, that's something I've been craving forever. Then my daughter used to do a ballet class, and then I thought, hold on. The reason why she's wearing a pink tutu is because that's for white people. Where's the brown tutu? So we just need to blackify things for me. So yeah, Band-Aids and tutus, please. Thank you very much.
I think we need to, we're in 2025. I think toilet paper needs to go. I think we should, I know there's such thing as bidets, but they should make that mandatory for everybody in every restroom. So I'm gonna definitely oversee that. Toilet paper out of here.
You did not go Band-Aids and tutus and talk about boo-boos, baby. You had me dying. And that's my time, David. I have so many more questions for you about this show, but I enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of heart with a lot of grit kind of tumbled in there every once in a while, and some very complicated characters who on the surface seem like they got it together, but they really don't. So I appreciated that. And thank you so much for bringing that to us.
Oh, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. So great to see you as always.
It's great to see you too. I'll see you soon.